He's holding his breath and trying to get away from any sort of Spider-Man spoiler. It's Mark. I'm dreaming about being in the world of Pandora, but hey, I don't have a PS5, so it's not my problem. It's me, Brian. That's the team today. We're doing a recap of the PlayStation Showcase, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, guys, that's the team. This is Blasting Turbo Ports. I, myself, and Brian Swan, joined alongside...
K9 Biscuits!
Yes, indeed. I have to move myself over and look at the camera before we start, so now it's all over the place. But guys, we're going to be doing just a quick sort of rundown. It's not like it's a lot going on this September State of Play. We obviously had a pretty busy day in the world of gaming. We had Nintendo start out with swinging with... we wouldn't say it was amazing, but it's definitely now, in comparison to the State of Play, a pretty solid... direct, and we waited until obviously 5 p.m. here to check out the State of Play from PlayStation. Mark, I have to start out simply by talking about this. Imagine you already market a device, right? You market a device in the summertime, and that device is coming out soon. Now, everyone hates this device because you, number one, have not marketed it well. And now you have a chance to market it once again. You have a chance to say, "All right,
Pringles crumbs on my face."
But hey, man, you had a chance, and you chomped on shit before. So hey. So imagine that you have this one opportunity, but instead of doing that, you make a under 30-minute State of Play that runs through shit that we already knew about, mostly shit we already knew about. And a few things that were maybe good, a few things that were a little impressive, but most of it's kind of bland.
It'd be crazy if they did did do that. But like, when I want to get around the State of Play, it was excellent. Like it sold me on the PlayStation Portable. They had an excellent showcase for it. They showed off its features and why it's actually important to for gaming in general. I'm going to spend $200 on the PlayStation Portable, and it's going to be my everyday gaming tool for the rest of my life, because they sold me on it in this State of Play, because they knew they were supposed to do that, and they did their job. Everyone did their job today.
Yeah, I mean, look, the impressions I get from this, I agree with you, Mark. I would go up and get a PlayStation Portable from 2004 right now. You're right. I absolutely...
PlayStation Portal!
Yeah.
Fuck!
Yeah,
Fuck!
Their whole joke actually works in the process because, after seeing this mess, this was atrocious. This was supposed to be, number one, the priority was PSVR and upcoming games. You didn't really sell me on anything. Look, we're going to run through this, right? Because we can run through this rather quickly. Baby steps. Weird thing to start with, but like you said, for YouTubers and content creators, fine, whatever. Normal people...
Funny looking game.
Normal people, though, probably not going to buy this. I'm not going to... For a PlayStation...
I'm not going to probably... I'm not going to...
Right. For a PlayStation 5, you're probably not thinking, you know what, I'm looking for a really graphically intensive game. I'm going to get the thick booty walking simulator. So no. And then you get into the PSVR stuff, and what do they have? They have 2 games. This is supposed to be a VR experience. We got 2 games. Ghostbusters, which I'm sure some people like this idea, but it just looked kind of janky and unfinished.
I guess it looks fine for a VR game. It looks like it's there. I don't see anything wrong with it. At the same time, I don't see anything selling me on VR in general.
Absolutely not.
You can tell if this was free, and this was for a VR set I already own. Still, I would not be like that. I still wouldn't be rushing to the VR set.
Instant buy. No, absolutely not. Yeah, and so, you had that, and you had Resident Evil 4, which, by the way, all the interesting stuff was DLC that's not actually part of VR. That stuff is not, the stuff that was, the experience of Resident Evil 4 in VR is separate from the fact that you get this DLC.
From what I hear, Resident Evil 4 is a great game, and it's just the whole game in VR, which is fine, because Resident Evil 7, is a great game, and that whole game is just available in VR, which is cool because, especially most VR games around the time that game came out, were just short experiences.
Yeah.
It's demos because nobody was developing a full game for VR. But like, hey, you can play the entirety of Resident Evil 7 in VR, and it's and I played it. It's cool. It's like I like it definitely does use VR well. Like when I'm walking around an old house, I feel like I'm in an old house, an abandoned house.
You're immersed in the experience.
Yeah, crazy old abandoned house with a crazy lady with a chainsaw trying to attack me.
I mean, and so after that, that's it. That's all the PSVR stuff. Again, I'm not saying that Resident Evil is going to be bad. I'm not saying that Ghostbusters is going to be bad. Yeah, I'm not saying that Resident Evil 4 is going to be bad, and I'm not saying Ghostbusters is going to be bad. I just think, like, if you're trying to sell this device, and this is the issue also of PlayStation Portal, is the fact that you don't, your developers are allocated to PS5 mostly. There's not enough resources to be able to throw at PSVR and then a completely new portable system.
By the way,
but it's just that, like, for VR, like, you know, you look at what's going on with Meta, and like there's a constant stream of content coming to Meta. Like they know what they're doing over there. They know who, you know, they're
compatible with PC,
and like you said, it's compatible with PC,
which has an infinite amount of VR games, and you got the PlayStation VR 2, a very limited amount of VR games, and you can't even use a library of PlayStation VR 1.
Yeah.
Because like Astro Boy,
Astro's Playroom.
That is a close name. Fuck. Astro's Playroom is probably like one of the best VR games I ever played.
Yes.
And it's a very unique experience. And like, not only have they still not announced a sequel, because that will get me not immediately buying it. That'll get me really thinking about it. I will really think hard if they make a sequel to Astro's Playroom, to Astrobot to the Rescue. But like, it's not it's not even compatible with the old one. Like, it's a very limited library.
You just don't see that. You don't think it doesn't seem like PlayStation even understands. It's, who am I to say PlayStation doesn't understand? I am just one guy. PlayStation is a multi-billion-dollar port piece of the Sony arm, but it's one of those things where you don't know who you like. They're not maximizing, number one, their mascot for the PSVR, which is Astro himself, the Astro robot design, which could be much further optimized.
But you had a good launch game for the PS5.
There's not a well executed library of games. You're not, for instance, there's an NFL game that looks like Madden that's on the Meta right now that you can play, and it's like you're in the helmet, you're a quarterback. That's cool. You should be able to. You should be able to do that on PlayStation because, you know, it's PlayStation. But Madden does not have that, and because Sony does not try to work out any other connections, that's not there. There's just a weird number of things that are not optional and that have not been implemented. I don't know if they have a really good theater experience, so that, like, if you've purchased a movie or if you watch something or you know, I don't know if they've maximized that yet, because I don't know enough about PSVR, but I do know that it's you're not selling me on the device.
PSVR 1 doesn't have a theater app, a dedicated theater movie experience app.
And it's weird because, again, I play very often on PS3, and PS3 has one of the best sort of entertainment experiences. Hey, it's 6 o'clock again. The bells are back. All right, let's keep it moving.
We're just keep it moving.
So
there's gonna be church bells in the back.
Again, we're doing we're doing this during the state of play. The state of play was mid, so they're getting this. They're getting the bells. So after the fact that PSVR,
please do it sounds of Hallelujah Overdrive while we fight.
That's right. That's good. Yes, indeed. But yeah, did you overall anything else about PSVR 2? I just thought that, like, if this was going to be about PSVR, you should have maximized. You should have obviously maximized the system, or you should have maximized, you know, explaining what it does to the audience. This is your new attempt. Every time people go and watch a state of play, what's up?
Oh no! Oh, okay. You just stopped what you were saying. Sorry. I was going to
Every time new audiences watch a state of play or a PlayStation showcase, this is your chance to say, here's what the PSVR does. Here's something new that the PlayStation VR does. Here's how you can buy it. That should be your priority, yet there's none of that here. Like, you should be trying to sell people. And again, we'll talk about the Portal later, but the Portal should have been in there. That is your new device that is getting a lot of controversy and flack because you're not engineering it or announcing how it's formatted. So, you know, it's just done in a very poor way. Mark, do you have any other things to say about PSVR?
I was gonna say, I forgot what I was gonna say. Why I keep losing my train of thought?
All right, we'll circle back around. Let's start with the Avatar game. So, I will say this does look interesting. I've heard a lot about the Avatar game. I've heard a lot. It's been rumored. It's been in development for years. Obviously, you know, we've seen gameplay of it before, but this is the first, or they've dropped gameplay of it before, but this is the first time I've actually looked deeper into, you know, the gameplay, and I do like what I see. I think that it's going to be a very good experience. They definitely have the immersion experience there. The open world looks great. Visually, it looks appealing. It just looks good. It looks like you're truly in that theatrical Pandora experience. And if that's what they're selling you, then they're doing a good job. Now, I don't know what you're going to be doing there, except for protecting your home, apparently, but it looks good, you know?
Far Cry Avatar Edition looks pretty sick.
Fair point. Yeah.
These Ubisoft Far Cry, Assassin's Creed type games, not my thing. They're not really into third-person shooters, but like, it looks great.
Right.
Because like when I was watching those Avatars movies, I'm like, this feels like a video game, and this would make up for a sick video game. And like this game is kind of how I imagine a video game would go for Avatar. And like, this looks good.
Yeah, it's very sad that this year we have an open world Avatar game coming to the biggest and best consoles, and we're getting a Last Airbender puzzle game. It was such a really smart decision. You know, eventually we'll get that Last Airbender open world game, or maybe we won't, because I don't know if Paramount understands the value that they have. It is what it is. So
they're making like a AAA game for Turtles, so.
Well, yeah, but Avatar should have been jumped on years ago. At this point, you know, it's so good that it had a second revival during COVID. Like, it's nuts, like how successful that show is. It's just not realized. All right, moving on. We get to the now cringeworthy Ghost Runner 2 gameplay. This was like 5 minutes of gameplay that. You know, I understand. We all said, Sony, you made a showcase that had a bunch of cutscenes, CGI cutscenes, and CGI, stuff. So we would like to see the game's actual gameplay. What we didn't want to see, what we did not want, is a bunch of awful voiceover. Like, you didn't need to do that. You know.
That's not Ghost Runner 2. You said Ghost Runner 2. That was
I'm sorry. That's Helldivers 2 too. My bad. Yeah. That was Helldivers 2. Well, I'll cut that out and I'll read it. We'll go. But Ghost Runner 2. We know it's coming out in October. Did you have any thoughts on Ghost Runner 2?
It looks memorable? Like I haven't played Ghost Runner 1. It looks fine.
Yeah.
Cyberpunkish, like neon. First
That's all we thought of when we first saw it. Yep, looks like Cyberpunk. Again, I'm not saying these are bad, but again, kind of in a...
Looks good for its genre, not... we'll wrap... I'll say more about it when we wrap it up.
Yeah, so number 5, again, so they finally talk about system components, but it's only about new controller colors and faceplates. Doesn't, again, answer our problem,
They showed they were making like the PlayStation controller...
Such a fucking tease. It's so weird
different how they went materials.
All these things.
And I was like... You better have one that looks like that. You better have one that looks like that. You better have one that looks like that.
And it's just colors. It's just 3 colors.
It's just flat colors. Flat primary colors.
Yeah.
I think those are primary. But just flat colors on them. I was like, are we getting one that looks like crystals? Are we getting one that looks like it has lava? Like, you can easily make a texture one.
Because it's like, instead of spending all this money on the CGI that it took to animate those scenes, like, at this point I'm just kind of annoyed at the way that Sony is doing this presentation, because again, you're under 30 minutes, you spent a whole minute cooking us on a teaser about a controller and some faceplates. Like, it's not, you know.
Yeah, I want a clunky controller that looks like it's made out of crystal. Like what we saw for a nanosecond in that one, like in that...
Or just maybe it has like a nice sheen to it, and then on the it looks like on the internals there's crystal within it. I don't know, something where you actually
crystal myth.
Yeah, put effort in.
Damn motorcycles.
You know, it's the end of summer. People got to do what they got to do. I keep going around the fucking loop. I don't know why. Anyway.
He's got a new dirt bike today.
Anyway, as I was saying before, but I misinterpreted, Helldivers 2, this is where, again, people wanted to see Helldiver. They wanted to see more gameplay in the next showcase or the next state of play, anything from PlayStation that's revealed. Last time, obviously, the showcase had a lot of CGI pre-rendered cutscenes and CGI pre-rendered sort of videos for gameplay. Instead, now we actually have gameplay. The only problem is it was voiced over by some really cringy, and I mean very cringy, Twitch streamers.
It's like what Ubisoft does for their
when they used to do E3 presentations.
Yeah, used to do E3 presentations for like the Rainbow Six presentations. They always have that like fake team going through the game.
Yeah,
and it reminds me a lot of that.
Yeah, it was just
I can't find real people to cooperate like this.
No, it's never what actually is happening. Like, there was a tag team working on a grenade launch. It's like, you're not going to have time in that game. You're going to just die. You're not going to be able to tag team. None of that's going to be real. You know, like,
it is playing with friends. Is like, they're going to be fucking around.
Right. Yeah.
If you put me on your team, I'm going to be fucking around.
Yeah, I like the...
And dying, and being bad at the game.
Like, I think the idea is interesting. But all I could see was, look, I could just play this, but I could play Star Wars Battle, or I could play Star Wars Battlefront. And yes, Star Wars Battlefront 2 is old. But if I'm going to have a character that has what looks like a clone trooper helmet and is shooting things, I'd rather be shooting in a Star Wars environment than I am with bugs or whatever those creatures were.
I could be playing F-099, because I'm pretty sure a ton of people just like turn this off and just like went to F-099.
Yeah. So after that, they decided, hey, by the way, we don't know anything about what happened with Spider-Man, but what we do know is that they spent a good amount of time telling us more information about Spider-Man 2 that we didn't need to hear. Now look, I know there are some people...
Pre-ordered it?
Oh, I know there are some people that want to learn more about it, but for us, we're done. It's nice. Like, okay, you gave us 15 minutes of gameplay. This has been a very, very anticipated game. You do not need to sell anyone on this game anymore. It's over. We're ready. Stop trying to tease us with this. And, you know, again, I think that the problem with this one, and again, I know I'm coming off as nitpicky, but the issue is you're coming out and you're throwing us things that would be nice to see when you first open the game. There's nothing better than seeing things that you have never seen before in like your gaming experience that was not in an E3 presentation, or not E3 presentation, it was just a state of play or a showcase, any of that. You know, like it's much more valuable that way. And so I would absolutely prefer that we just go radio silent and just wait until this comes out. You know, like, we could do it with Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. We could do it for, you know, the first Spider-Man, which even that was getting a little too much. They put way too much into that too.
I think they didn't have much material to like put in this
Clearly they do. It's less. Or than we'll talk about that whole thing.
Or else it would have been a shorter trailer, honestly.
Yes. Tales of Arise, Beyond the Dawn. You know, Tales popular, all that stuff. Fine. It's one of those things where, you know, it looks beautiful.
It looks great. It's a beautiful looking action RPG. Usually the Tales games are. I don't have the time in my life for RPGs. At least I usually save that time for Pacific ones, like the one we're going to talk about later in this presentation. But looks great. Another nice looking Tales. All those Tales games look very nice.
Yes.
They look like great RPGs. I just don't have the time for them.
No.
I own some of them because sometimes they go on sale for very cheap, and I just put them in my library and I'm like, I will play this one day.
2037. Foam Stars. Look. We all saw that first trailer. It looked like a mess, and yes, it looks better. This is probably I would say, of all the games here from the first time we saw them, most improved looking game. Foam Stars. Congratulations.
Yeah, it looks
because
good.
It looks like it's cohesive. There's a point. You understand what's happening now. You do see some of the more visually pleasing things that were more messy when you first got that trailer originally. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I'm surprised you said all of that without saying Splatoon.
Well, because I said Splatoon the first time. I know we didn't have a showcase reaction, but because it's obvious that it's yeah.
Yeah, like there's nothing wrong with a ripoff as long as you do it right. And it looks like they're doing it right, like as like a Splatoon. Sony can't buy Splatoon or have it on their system, so they just have I don't know if like Square Enix they commissioned Square Enix to make this, or Square Enix just like. They said like, hey, we're making this. We want to make our own Splatoon. We'll sell this to you, Sony.
I mean, Square could have been just developing it, and then Sony has the exclusivity rights. I don't think that was something where they made it a second-party thing. I think that it was more that Square was already developing, and Sony wanted to lock that in.
Yeah,
I believe
it looks good. And they're ripping off all the correct parts of Splatoon, and like adding a little bit of their own flavor to it. And it looks like it could be fun. I'll download the beta, and if I have time to play it, I'll play it.
Cool beans.
So, yeah.
And then you're more excited. And then the last thing that was there, by the way, again...
before we get to the last thing, I just want to... Because I was trying to say that earlier, the PlayStation... anything's on PSVR. But, like, the PlayStation Portal... I made the mistake... It's easy to make that mistake because the
Portable,
You just have to add a couple more letters to Portal.
Yes.
It's a clumsy name.
It is. Take out the L, put the B where the L is, add the L and the E at the end, and guess what? You have Portable. Congratulations. Final Fantasy VII, the second piece, I believe, right? This is the second piece of the...
yes.
Yeah. So, again, I think this is obviously one of the most expensive things, outside of the fact that GTA is rumored to be up to $150 in price, but this is one of the most expensive looking games we've ever seen. It's visually stunning. I would love to see this as a movie. Obviously, people make cutscenes, bring all the cutscenes together.
They did make a Final Fantasy VII movie called Having Children.
Yeah, so
pretty alright. You probably wanna. It won't mean anything to you unless you know Final Fantasy VII because it's a continuation of the game
of the story, right? So
it's a good movie.
Yeah, but yeah, February 29th looks good. I know you have more thoughts on that. What do you think?
It looks great. I can't wait to play it. Now that we got a new release month because they said it was winter. I remember when this first was revealed, it was like winter of 2023, and I know
technically, winter 2023 stretches into 2024.
Fuck you! It's 2024, not 2023. No, that's winter 2024, bitch.
No, winter 2024 is December of 2024 because winter starts in December.
Yes.
You see the mind games they can play with this? Winter.
No. But they said 2023.
No, but
that's the year, though.
You get what I'm saying? Winter rolls in, like the season.
The season rolls in. It's still winter, but it's winter 2024.
No, winter 2024 is the next year in December because winter starts in December.
Yes.
Yes. You get what I'm saying? Like, as in December 2024 is when winter starts for 2024.
No.
Yes.
It doesn't work like that. That's bullshit.
Because it carries over. What do you mean? It keeps moving.
Yeah, but the year changes.
It's
like saying it's still fine. It's like saying it's still fucking December and February.
What? No, it's like saying it's still winter in February.
Yeah, it's still winter, but the year changed.
Yes, but it started in 2023.
Yeah.
It's like a full moon cycle.
But it's not 2023 anymore once it hits February.
It's like a full moon cycle. No, it's like, okay, think about it like this. When the school year starts, the school year is September to like May, and it's the 2023 to 2024 school year, right? But it's still technically the 2023 school year because it started in 2023.
Yeah, that's a school year.
Yes.
But it's not it's not
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it stretches...
That's not the release year. So
I know, it's not... I know, I'm just saying I'm not saying they're right. I'm saying, like, you can really play mind games and say, technically, we didn't change the date. It's winter 2023 because it started in 2023 and then ended in 2024, but it started in 23. Mind games.
No.
That was weather with Brian.
No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. No.
The season's changing.
I ain't buying it. No. It's 2020. It's 2024, bitch.
Final Fantasy VII. Outside of the release date move, what do you think of What do you think of it?
Looks fantastic.
Right.
Looks fantastic. Changed up a lot of different story elements. What I like about this remake, it's not your average remake. It's like...
Oh shit, it's not your average remake.
Yeah, because the same events happen, but then... Because I'm not going to spoil anything, but like, the same events happen, but then some things change.
Okay.
And that's kind of the plot of the whole game, where it's like, the whole plot of the game is like, this is different.
Like, can you notice the differences in
Yeah, so it's the funny thing is, it is a remake, but it's not an entry point.
Adjusted for inflation.
Yeah, yeah, okay, yeah. But like, yeah, it's a remake, but it's not an entry point.
Right.
It like, the story relies on you playing the original.
Yeah. Okay. Alright, cool deal.
Which is probably unfair to like people who haven't played Final Fantasy VII, but fuck, they're making a good game. It still plays good too. It's a
100%.
fucking solid action RPG.
Yeah.
And it plays well. Like I remember playing the remake on PS4 during the pandemic, and like I had so many moments of playing that game or like being the boss. I was like, fuck yeah! It's a great RPG, and well, at least I know how to take time off work this year. But like I'm probably taking like 3-4 days off work to finish that game. That's
just to chew through it. I got you.
Yeah, I got it. It's an RPG. I don't have the time in my life for RPGs. I am making time for this. I gotta get through this.
Sounds good.
It better not be. With that being said, at least because Japanese RPGs are long as hell, like hundreds of hours.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy VII was like, by the very least, it was like 20 to 30 hours. So it wasn't 100.
Right.
They better not go for 100 hours. Just please keep it short, because it's. Oh my god, I can't.
That'd be quite a drain there.
Yeah, it'll be a drain on me.
Yeah.
That's why I can't beat any Yakuza games, because they're all so good, but they're all so long.
Crazy. Let's talk. So this wraps up everything. Literally, that's it. We talked about everything. It took us way more time to talk about Nintendo, and Nintendo, by the way, lasted only about 10 to 15 more minutes. So let's break this down. I just want to break down overall. I think the state of play is, I'd give this a nice rough F. I think this is awful. I think
probably
you really could have done so much more here, and there were pressing things that you needed to prioritize. I think that obviously they knew that they could market system content, because they still marketed the controllers and they marketed the faceplates for somebody. They marketed both of those, but they didn't bring up anything about the other system that's clearly under a lot of duress. And the PSVR 2, it's like one of those things where you maybe should remind people, what does it look like, how much does it cost, what does it do, just like, not just here's what's coming, but just a reminder, because a lot of people, it's like you're moving, like life's going, you kind of just give them a fresh reminder of what this thing is, and then from there, I think the games were fine. It was a fine selection, but I just I don't. This is not something that like will turn you over like in a new leaf. It's not like, ooh, look at this revolution. It's not even really a holdover. Like, it's weird to see that Nintendo really mopped the floor with them, because leaving out of this, people, I mean, if you looked online, people were really dogging Nintendo on that Direct, and it's a whole different ballgame here. This is just wasteful, and I think, not to say anything bad about the...
It makes Direct looks a lot better in hindsight.
Yes, and the last thing I'll say before passing it over to Mark is not to be mean to the presenter, but it's like you should have shaken up. You should have tossed around to a couple different people.
That's so
like it was very much like you it's like weird. Like you filmed her in a dark room by herself in a weird angle, like super close. Like what the fuck is that?
I don't
do you have a budget of like $5? Like what are you doing? Like
it looked like her words were matching her mouth. Like,
well, that's because the audio wasn't synced up to what she was saying, which is stupid because you're a fucking professional company. So
and the funny thing, the audio is like synced up better for the Nintendo translators than it was for her.
Yeah. Crazy.
It's like they were translating for her.
But yeah, what do you think of the state of play overall before we get into the portal?
I can definitely say like I can't really say like it was a awful because I all I know is like all those games they showed they just like weren't for me, except for Final Fantasy VII. But I can definitely say the pacing was really bad. Like even like a lot of games they showcased. They kind of just like lingered on for a bit long. It's like, I get the point. You don't have to be on here for this long. Because like Nintendo Direct, I appreciate about those. They're very snappy. They, like, even the older ones have problems of lingering on the game for too long. But like, even this recent one, like today, I didn't feel like it was taken for like, there was games I was not interested in today's Direct. Nintendo Direct. And they didn't linger, I feel like they didn't linger on those for too long. A lot of games, like even the ones I know of, they linger on for too long. Even like Spiderman one, they showed like 15 whole minutes of gameplay last time. We know the game in and out at this point for anyone who's looking into it.
Yeah.
And it's coming out very soon.
Yes.
They don't really have to sell people any more on it.
No.
No. They don't need to sell people on 19 inches of Venom anymore. Like everyone and their grandmother's gonna buy this game anyway. It could have been like a short trailer, just a short reminder. Hey, this game's coming out. Hey, buy it. Get ready for the hype. That's it. But like, yeah, it's other games are just like too much of. Even the opening game, Baby Steps, like a little bit like it's funny to look at, but they lingered on it. That trailer went on for too long, and the joke was it stopped being funny. It was tiring it out.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of stuff here. It's not on my wish list. Where I can give you like a decent list of stuff from the Direct. It's on my wish list, but I mean to be fair, most of those games are for me. But to be even more fair, Direct had a lot more games.
That too. Yeah.
But like the only thing on my wish list from this was fucking Final Fantasy VII, and that's already guaranteed by. Oh well. Spider-Man 2. But yeah, that's a guaranteed buy. And the only possible thing I'd probably just like linger on my wish list I'll think about is Tales.
Gotcha.
It looks good. Other than that,
nothing new.
Not for me. It's not for me. And in terms of the pacing was just bad.
Well, that's why. And not to cut you off. That's why I said like this is why this is an F, like straight up. Because if we both gave the Nintendo Direct a C, like we talked about before, even if you tried to edit that differently, you'd end up with the same result.
Yeah.
If you edit this differently, you start with Spider-Man, even if it's a little more controversial, you start off with Spider-Man, maybe that feels a little better because you start off with some hype, and then you end with Avatar instead of putting it in the heart, maybe that's kind of better because you start off with Spider-Man, you boost the confidence a little, you know, like there are ways, and then Final Fantasy, maybe you put that in the middle as like that's the middle buffer. So you have Avatar at the end, or you know, however you want to make it work. You know what I mean? Like just there's ways to make this state of play way more momentous because it just went and chugged and went and chugged. And again, the pacing's just weird because you don't need to do 17 PlayStation icon transitions if you only have 25 minutes of content. You don't need to keep doing the XO square circle if you don't know, if you only have so little content. Like it was like every time, and it was like 10-second hold. You know what I mean? It was like a 10-second hold on like the symbols. It's like you don't need to hold on the symbols if you don't have that much to offer. You just keep it moving. You fade. You know, transitions are simple. You just fade and keep it moving. You fade and keep it moving. And so I just think like like there's awful pacing. The experience was you revealed too much of Spider-Man. You gave us an unnecessary cheap gameplay VO thing with Helldivers. And then, you know, we already knew about that Avatar game. We already knew about Resident Evil on VR. We already know about Foam Stars. I like what they gave.
They still barely sold VR.
But that's the other thing is they didn't maximize it either. So it's like, that's again an F on product marketing. You know, but they surely gave us the faceplate shit.
I was gonna agree with you. Yeah, it is an F. I was giving my reason why to me it's an F.
Gotcha.
It's this was a
This was a chore.
We could have been playing F-099, man.
This was a chore to sit through. It's what I'm saying. It was a chore. Like, fuck. Like,
we could have been playing F-099. We should have been, man.
Yeah. But that's it, guys. Oh, fuck. Let's talk Portal. Did you want to talk? You had some thoughts on Portal. I just thought overall, like, end of the day, I'm going to keep it short and simple unless I bounce off.
I think I already talked about it. It's just like...
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just...
They could have sold it more. I don't think... You know what? This proves to me they have nothing to say more about it. Yep. They don't have anything to sell it more on because it's like... That PlayStation Portal is sort of it. It's just sort of the thing. We can't really talk about its features because it doesn't have any. It's more hardware we're putting out. So if you got that extra money, we know you do. Just spend it our way and buy useless junk from us, please.
Because I thought what was happening, by the way, with the controller transition was I thought it was gonna the controller was gonna widen out and become the fucking Portal. Because, you know, you had all those transitions.
I had to take the camera off me because
that shit sounded fucking catastrophic. But, yeah.
Now COVID.
Yeah, but when they had that metallic to crystal to all that transition, I thought it was going to widen out to become the Portal. But instead, it was just another controller color. That's all. I just don't, like, decision-wise, you know, there's so many ways you could have done that better. And again, if you have only 25 minutes of content, don't do a state of play. Especially not in reaction to Nintendo. Like, what are you doing?
When's the last time a state of play wildest, really? I mean...
Well, again, I think most people like interlace state of play and showcase because sometimes the state of play has a big thing and sometimes it doesn't, and then a showcase.
I forget those are different things.
And then the showcase is a bigger thing, but sometimes the state of play has a bigger thing. So it's one of those things where, you know, you don't know what you're going to get, but maybe they should just call it.
The Metal Gear Collection was revealed during the showcase.
The showcase.
There were the.
No, the showcase.
Oh yeah, fuck.
The summer showcase.
Mixed up.
Yeah, it's a terrible idea to have two different, naming conventions for these.
I mean, Nintendo has Treehouse and Direct, but you know the difference to one.
You said what?
Nintendo has like the Treehouse and Nintendo Direct.
Yes.
But you easily know the difference.
But you also know Indie World. Indie World is boom.
But that's also a Direct.
Yeah.
It's in its own way. It's just called Indie World Direct. But like you know like they sound very different, so you know which one is which, and they heavily advertise like to make sure people will know. This is what a Direct is. This is what a Treehouse is.
Right. Yes, indeed.
And it's it sounds like what it would be. And while state of play, you gotta know the definition to know what kind of stream that is.
Well, it also
showcase self-explanatory.
It also sounds like you're gonna tell us a lot of information about how things are going as well. What's about to happen?
Yeah, the state of what we're playing.
Yes, that's why it's like such a weird thing that it's so small. So yeah, guys, it was just a waste of time. It is what it is. We are here, so. We're talking about it, so technically they won because we're talking about it, so it is what it is. Guys, you can find Mark at K9BISKUTS.com or right here on the Screen Blast podcast, where we have video game content from here on the Blasting Trouble Reports, cartoon animation content from Cartoon Chat. We've got theatrical movie-based content from Screen Blast, and we've got memes galore on How the Cow. Not to end off on the last
a greasy bag of memes.
We've also got the last but not least Stream Blast. So if you like streaming content, go ahead and check us out.
Hey, watch our reaction of the Direct before this.
Yes, yeah, that'll be lined up next to each other. Okay. So yeah, we'll there'll be separate videos, but they'll be lined up.
You add those like little clickable end cards to these videos, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yes. I'll definitely make sure to line it up for the other.
Click on it. It's gonna be over there whenever the video ends. Whenever the video ends, you'll know when it ends. It'll show up somewhere. Yeah.
All right, guys. We're out.
Log it out, everybody. Freaking losers. What do you mean we're still on air?